Hi, everyone. Welcome to the YouTube channel here. We're just trying to provide some construction estimating resources. We will be delving into the comprehensive construction estimating resource that encompasses the following key topics. Stack construction. One of my favorite softwares. I use it quite a bit in my own business. So I'm not just showing you something that just to show you something, I have a lot of experience with this software. I've used it for multiple different CSI trades and have performed estimates on those things in the software. So I have a pretty good understanding of this software, how it works, and a lot of the bells and whistles and things like that. So I've been through this software pretty extensively. I think that if you're someone new in construction and you're looking to do your own estimating, this is a great software, Stack software, and I'll provide a link for that in the description. Also blueprint reading and techniques. So I'm going to get into some of the how to read blueprints, some of the things that as someone who's doing estimating, you should always do. And I'm going to show you how to do those things and give you some construction estimating tips on how to be thorough in your investigation of blueprints and takeoffs and estimating. And we'll even get into bid proposals, the edible spreadsheet that Stack actually has to offer and how that works. So we're going to get into a lot of different things here as far as blueprint reading techniques. I think you're going to enjoy that. And we're going to do that today for commercial painting. So if you're a commercial painter, a residential painter, I think this will apply to both. We're going to do a small commercial job here, and we're going to pick apart the painting portion of this for you painters. If there's wall covering on here, we might even get into that and how to proceed in that, at least on this specific plan here. Now, I haven't even looked at the plan. So we're going to go through together. Other than uploading the plan, I haven't looked at it, haven't looked at the finish schedule, nothing like that. And I did that for the very purpose of seeing how it goes down in real time. You see that estimators aren't perfect. I'm going to make a few mistakes probably and have to correct those mistakes, and I'm going to do it in real time. But in doing that, it will take me through a lot of the things that this software has to offer, and it will show you that you don't have to be perfect to do construction estimating. You just have to be thorough and correct your mistakes. So to access these valuable resources, you can find the respective links in the video's description. Additionally, we'll also be providing trading guidance tailored to benefit your business. So if you're someone who knows nothing about this and you want training, of course, for an hourly rate, I'll provide that for you. You can reach out to me through the description in the video here in the description. If you're someone who is not new to this, you might go through, just, hey, keep watching. Maybe you learn something. Maybe you won't. Maybe you can share it with someone else who needs to know. But the whole purpose of pinch estimating is not to just do estimating for companies, but to provide construction estimating resources and tips and software and whatever we can provide to help you be successful as well. It's not all about us. It's about helping others be successful. So we want to do that here. So without further ado, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this project. And like I said before, I haven't touched this project other than downloading it and uploading it into the software here, which is easy to do. If you go into projects, you'll see new projects, you'll add the project name, you'll add some of the other information here, who the project is assigned to, the bidding status. This is really easy, create and launch. So once you hit create and launch, it'll just give you probably a half a dozen or more ways that you can upload the project, whether it be a Dropbox link, or it be a PDF, whatever it be. There's many different avenues to upload a project into here, which I find really resourceful because not all projects are uploaded equally. Obviously, you get projects from different GCs and they give them to you in different ways. Sometimes they'll upload a PDF for you. Sometimes they'll give you a Dropbox link. Sometimes it'll be by pictures, and you can do all those things on here. Excuse me, allergies. So let's get into this. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here, and in home you can select, make sure all this information is correct. Go through, add your user. As you can see, we can add notes in here too. So I did add summary notes about the project here. As we get into the plans, first thing we're going to do is we're going to arrange the plans. So this is how we do that. All right. So we're going to go into here. I'm going to view this plan here. Okay. And this is your plan page. A101 is the page number. And this is how you would arrange your pages. Because you see currently all we have is A101, A111. And I will say as a disclaimer, sometimes plans are difficult. Sometimes they do not want to arrange, and you have to arrange them the best way that you possibly can, no matter what. But hopefully this one will arrange. It will give the page number and the page name. Let's see if it does that. And so we're going to go into this one here. Go. We already have the page number, but we're going to go through here. And it's good to zero in on this so you can see it a little better. Add page title. So the page title is here, right? So we want to hit draw. And this is the way Stack software does it. And then you just hit enter. And here you go. It did it. Perfect. A101, page number, construction, and finished floor plan. So much easier, isn't it? When you can read that, you can just have the details you need to do this. The second thing that you will need to do in the Stack software is find a page. And you might want to do it on every page, maybe, I don't know. But we're going to go up here. we are going to do quarter is 1 because that's what it says the scale is. Right, and right here we see a measurement. It says 5 feet. So we want to check to make sure that the scale is correct on this plan. Right, so this is the way you check the scale. You just take your dimension line because we already put the scale in there. And the scale that we used for the plan, where is it? Is right here, right? So scale 1/4 is 1 inch, or 1 foot. 1/4 is 1 foot, sorry. And so we're going to take this dimension line and we're going to see, yeah, so this plan is on. We can see that we measured that out. That measurement is supposed to be 5 feet from the beginning and ending point. We measured it out and we see that it's 5 feet. So we know the scale is right on the plan. And the reason I recommend doing this on the plans, check the scale, is because if it's wrong and you do the takeoff, a 14,000 bid might be a 7,000 bid, right? You might charge $7,000 for a $14,000 job, so on and so forth. And you really don't want to do that. It's happened to me before. Some years back, I did a Walmart, and we did the takeoff. We sent a thing. Of course, we got hired because my bid was thorough, detailed, and it was very low. So, but thank goodness the general contractor on site was honest and said, hey, we noticed that the scale was off on the plans. Would you please go and redo the takeoff and give us a new bid proposal? So it was great of them that they were honest, but not all contractors are honest, and not all contractors are perfect. So it's something that can definitely be overlooked. So you want to verify the scale. So third, so we name the pages first. We verified the scale second. Now third, we're going to search the plans. And the way you search plans is they have a cool little feature up here under plans. And it says search for text on the plans, right? So we're going to search the keyword paint. There's some other keywords you should probably search without getting into too much of it. But if you want the training and stuff, we're definitely willing to come alongside you in the Stack software and go through each thing and show you how it's done. Like basically in your Stack software, we'll come in there, we'll upload the plans with you, and we'll go through as many projects as you need so that you can learn how to do this yourself. You know, we want you to be successful. We understand the challenges. We understand the cost of doing business. And if you can do these things yourself, you're going to save money. And we want to help you do that. We want to help you save money. There are plenty of contractors out there that don't care to do this. And so we have plenty of business. We don't really, we're not trying to sell you on pinch estimating. We're trying to give you construction estimating resources and tips that make you successful. We want to see that done. So if you need the training, we'll do that. But some of the keywords here that you might want to research are bid documents. See if anything shows up. And usually on a bigger job, when you search bid documents, you're going to see that this shows up because of the word bid. So the word bid is going to show up. But on bigger projects, this is an important one. Bid documents, because a lot of times GCs will require that you submit their bid documents with your bid proposal. So bid documents is one you probably want to try. Another one is prevailing wage. I always check this one out because if you end up doing a takeoff on a plan and you're open shop and you submit it and then they hire you, you sign the contract, and you find out later that it's prevailing wage, you're going to be in a bad spot. So, and prevailing wage is different than open shop. They have a few things. They have Davis-Bacon, prevailing wage, those kind of things. So you want to search out prevailing wage. You want to search out wage. And the reason you do this, we know this is an open shop job, but I'm just doing this for your benefit to kind of give you an idea. If you do go and grab the software from Stacked, so when you upload, you go so that you know that you need to do this so that you're safe on your end. Most times, if you've done this for a while, most times, not all the time, most times they'll say open shop, prevailing wage, things like that in the project summary, but they don't do that all the time. So it's just good to search that. The other thing would be insurance. So let's see if they give so search insurance. This is pretty general. It's a smaller job. They probably don't require a whole lot. But sometimes, they go in and they'll give you the insurance requirements. And what I like about Stack 2 is you see it's all highlighted. You search the word insurance, all the documents with that word will show up in your search results right here. So we search those. It gives you the general requirements, responsibility matrix, somewhere insurance here. And a responsibility matrix is just telling you who's responsible for what. This can be important a lot of times. But on here, you see it's a pretty general, it seems, plan. They don't really list specifics on the insurance requirements, which means that they're probably not outlandish. I've been on some projects where these jobs are requiring $10 million insurance coverage with a $5 million umbrella, and it's just ridiculous. I'm a painter. Even if I destroyed everything, and that's what we're doing. If I destroyed everything in the building with paint, it still won't come to that much. But they sometimes they just get out of hand with the insurance requirements, but it's good to check them out. It's good to check them out to see what the requirements are, because if you have to pay for that, then if your insurance, if you have a 1 million with like a 2 million umbrella and they're requiring 5 million with a 3 million, you're going to have to submit that to your insurance. And at least for that specific job, you're going to have to pay a little bit more on your insurance just to get coverage on that project. So you want to include that in your price. All this is cost. And so I'm going to erase these. The other one is cover sheet. Cover sheet. Let's see if that one comes up here, right here. All right. Ooh, where is it? So we want the cover sheet. Now this one is important, as you can see, because the cover sheet will give you, and as a painter, of course, you want the architectural drawings. So this is your specific area here. These are just general notes under general, exit safety plan, responsibility matrix, accessibility details, general notes and symbols, cover sheet, which all can be helpful. Demolition, the guys doing demolition on this plan would, obviously, this is for them. Architectural plan, this is for you. Architectural plans cover the finishes. So if you're in Division 9, this is you. And you got electrical, mechanical, plumbing. All these are great. And this is one of the plans you want to keep up at top. And another thing I like about Stack software is they're all highlighted, right? So if I click on schedules, it'll take me right there, right? I'll see this. I'll be able to zoom in on it. Is this one that I want to keep on the top bar? Yeah, it is. Actually, this is the next one we would look up, which would be, I believe, finish schedule. So, and here we go. So those are the two main ones as far as commercial painting. You are going to need, you're going to want the cover sheet up here, and you're going to want the finish schedule to be up there. So, and the reason is your finish schedule is going to give the Division 9 finish professional what the finishes are, right? Paint and sealants. We can see that Ben Moore is going to be the called out paint on this project. And for the sake of not being too complicated, I'm just going to go with Ben Moore. But I find that sometimes when I submit a bid, I'll do the Sherwin-Williams equivalent, and I'll submit two bids. I'll submit one with Sherwin-Williams and one with Ben Moore. And of course, they're at two different price points. And then sometimes I've gotten jobs just because the builder or the owner of this build is okay with paying a little less for a specific paint. But I don't want to complicate things, so we're just going to go with Ben Moore. So cover sheet, finish schedule. Those are two of the most important things you're going to grab in Division 9. And we're doing commercial painting here. So we're going to go through this and do the painting portion. Maybe the next one I'll do is demolition, but we're going to do the painting portion today. So the next keyword we want to search is, obviously, because we're doing painting, we want to search paint. And what this will do is it will search every single document that has the word paint on it, right? And here is very important. This is where you want to be very thorough, okay? So we're already on this plan. So what we're going to do is we are going to highlight, we're going to go through every single plan that's mentioned anything about that keyword paint, and we're going to highlight it. And I'm going to tell you why. It's going to save you time, especially on big plans. On the bigger plans, it's going to save you time. because you're going to see this and you can go directly to those items that you see highlighted that you've already referenced, and it'll make things a lot quicker for you. So as you can see, I highlighted those things on here. There's a few more here. And this is going to be a great reference point for your takeoff. So you see everything's highlighted there. And we're going to continue to do that through the plans. Now I'm going into a great deal of detail on this plan. And I'm doing that because I want to be a great construction estimating resource for all of you guys out there wanting to learn this, curious about the software and its capabilities. And we want to work smarter, not harder, right? And this software allows you to do that. A lot of softwares don't have an ability to do some of the things we can do on here, like naming the pages. So therefore or searching the pages like we do up here in the bar for paint. And it just takes so much more time. But with a software like Stack, you can really cut your estimating time in half. And that's the whole idea, is saving money. But not only saving money, but also being able to do a very thorough job on the estimate here. So as I go through these, I make notes, and the way I make notes is on a piece of paper in front of me. So as I'm going through here and I'm highlighting, I'm seeing I'll just put the word paint, underline it, and then I'll put all exposed conduits and wiring. And we know we're supposed to paint that PT-02. Paint exposed deck structure. So, and this is because, and when I write this, it goes into memory, right? So paint exposed deck structure. And I chose a smaller plan because I'd be here all day with you guys. Structure, ductwork, conduit, structure, ductwork, and sprinkler pipes. And why do I write all this out? Because I'm going to put this in the bid proposal. And if you've ever seen some of the bid proposals out there, because I do estimating and acquiring estimates for general contractors sometimes as well. And if you've seen some of the estimates that they get, there's no information, there's no detail. It's just a price, paint walls, paint ceilings, you know, and all this other information is left out. And I would say 99% of the time, none of those guys get a job because there's no detail and they haven't been thorough in their bid proposal. So you want to be thorough. You want to be competitive. You don't want to be so low that you're cutting your legs off, but you don't want to be so high that you're not getting any of the jobs. And I find that right in the middle is where every contractor that bids needs to be, is like right in the middle. That's the sweet spot. You want it to be detailed and in the middle. It's competitive and it's detailed, and therefore you're making a net. on the actual job as a business. And that's the whole idea of business, right? Is making a net, not constantly just getting jobs and cutting your legs off and making no money. That's not what you're in business for. So put that on here. Of course, you don't paint the sprinkler heads. What I would usually do when I was had my own business doing this before I got into full-time estimating is I would use tinfoil. I'd go up, I'd bring a thing of tinfoil in there, and I just squeeze it around those sprinkler heads. That's another construction estimating tip if you didn't know that. And that way, when you're spraying it out, sprinkler heads don't get painted. Some of you probably do that. Some of you probably spend too much time with other things, gimmicks that they sell online to do that. But you don't, use tinfoil. It's cheap. Buy a roll of it, go through, squeeze it over that sprinkler head, and then you can spray out everything. Here we go. Now here's some more things we want to mark up and highlight on here. So this is the line of paint transition. And so you see PTO2 here and PTO1 here. And this is for new guys who haven't done it. I'm going slow through this because I want to be as helpful as I possibly can for you guys. So that just means above this line, PTO2, which is a certain color of Ben Moore is going, and then here below that line, PTO1, which is another color Benjamin Moore is going there. And then I like that. I like that. I like that. So I'm going to go to schedules here real quick because I want to write some of this down, right? We got door and frame. So we want to paint doors and frames, right? And we see some of the different colors here. Vision panel with tempered glass. Boom, boom, paint door and frame. So that's just saying it's a door and frame and it has a vision panel in the door. So got paint doors and frames. And here's your PTO1 and PTO2. They're using Chantilly lace, which is the white. You can't get any whiter than that, but also it's probably a 3-coat coverage to get it white. So let me see. All right. Any paint on this? Nope. All right, so we'll continue. Nice. So this is the miscellaneous details. Nape and Vought heavy duty shelf standards and brackets, paint to match frosty white laminate. So they want these brackets painted to match the laminate shelf there. So these are the brackets. This is the shelf. Let me see. Paint to match there. So they want this painted here, the shelf here to match. So we're going to highlight these here. Shelf and brackets. nap and void, shelf and brackets. So I wrote that on my paper. We're going to go through you probably have to paint the shelf and brackets here, but we might want to clarify that because most times they're not painting brackets or they come factory finished on the bracket part. Maybe there's another detail as we go through here. 1 inch thick particle board between wing wall support at 5 foot, full panel at each end, paint to match wall. So 1 inch thick particle board. It's pointing to it here. And I'm gonna put that on my piece of paper here that I handwrite on. This is all going to go in my bid proposal. And those are the two that we need there. And those things are probably non-measurable because how many are there in here? I don't know. I don't think that they give you a miscellaneous detail, but on the actual print, how many? I don't know. So we might have to add that as an add alternate in the bid. L2 times 2 by 1/8 inch steel angle paint to match. So we're going to put L2 2 by 1/8 inch steel angle. Panel running tolerance of real panels capture on flush edges at the bottom. So they want all this stuff painted to match. So schedules, we've already done that one. This is a specification. And that's just, I know this is kind of like you don't need to do this, but we're just going to highlight it. Anyway, you want to get a habit of highlighting all of this stuff on the plans. Anything that has to do with painting. So you want to just get in a habit because you might get asked a question by the general contractor, or there's times where I've had contractors, and I don't think it's on purpose. Hopefully it's not on purpose, trying to get to paint something for free. And they'll say it's on the plans, but since you didn't thoroughly go through and highlight everything that you see, there's no way you're going to go through and spend a couple hours looking through every single word on here. So you just want to highlight it so you can go back and quickly reference it and say, yeah, you're right, or no, you're wrong, so, and it may be something that you highlighted. So it's just always better to go through and highlight these areas so you have a point of reference. Now I'm just highlighting the word paint on this specification because it'll take me to those words on here. Right, here's just telling you need to back prime finish carpentry. And I do that because on the markups, many times this green doesn't show up because it only shows up in the search here. But then at least you have a reference point here of the yellow highlighted, so that if you have to go and do a quick overview on the paint spec over here, you can do that pretty easily because you have highlighted all of the areas that say paint, painting, paintable, that kind of thing. And again, like I said, you want to be thorough. Here's another paint specification. And of course, you want to spend more time, I guess, reading over this stuff if you're new at this kind of thing, because it will give you a great idea of what to expect on the job. Some of these things that they list, you're going to notice, they're factory finished. Factory prime doors. And it always says factory prime doors and frames, but if you paint long enough, you know that the factory prime is not that great. And you throw 2 finish coats over it, and then all of a sudden you got rust spots showing through. So me, if I'm a painter, I'm going the extra mile, and I am getting an industrial paint. And I'm going to lightly prime those doors again, just so it blocks out any future rust, because any water, anything gets on them, man. You know how it is if you're a painter. If it's not primed properly, the rust is going to show through. And one of the key words probably on this sheet, if it's not on here, another one you could search is warranty. Most jobs, at least a 1-year warranty on your paint. And if there's rust showing through, you're going to be back there painting all the doors for free again. So just keep in mind, factory prime. My rule is factory prime sucks. And you can learn that the easy way or the hard way. The easy way is do it, prime them anyway, and 99.9% of the time you won't have any issues. Don't prime them, learn the hard way, and come back and prime and repaint all these doors for free. Yeah, I guess if you have money to throw away, you can do that. But most people I know in the trades, especially smaller businesses, they ain't got a whole lot of money to throw away. And larger businesses have nailed down the technique of being thorough and just going the extra mile to cover their butts. So there are a lot of contractors out there that will take a lot of shortcuts, but they will also be back, and they'll realize that just like in life, there are no shortcuts. It's either, work hard, do it the right way the first time, according to your experience, knowledge, and understanding of painting, and avoid those pitfalls. But a lot of people don't do that. They don't avoid those pitfalls. They try to take shortcuts, and those shortcuts just end up costing them more money in the end. So don't take shortcuts. That's a construction estimating tip. Do it the right way the first time, and you'll be successful all the time, or 99.99% of the time. I know that unforeseen circumstances do happen, and those are out of your control. But if you want to be successful 99.999% of the time, then be thorough and just go the extra mile, for these businesses and these contractors, because you're selling your brand, your product, and you want to make a good name for yourself, right? The Bible says that a good name is better than gold, silver, and all that other stuff, So if you have that kind of thinking, then you can avoid the pitfalls that many people make. Wisdom is hearing and doing, right? When we hear those kind of things, people say it that have been in the business and have experience, and we just do them. That's wisdom. So have wisdom, guys. Do your proper diligence, and be thorough in your construction estimating, as well as your painting for your contractors out there. Me, I love estimating. I like doing this. I like it because it makes me happy when someone says, yeah, we got that contract, we got that job. And then, they've gone out and they've provided work for their employees and subcontractors, and taking care of their families because of it, and that gives me joy. That gives me great pleasure in what I do, and so that's why I do what I do. Now, having said that, I'm not perfect. I'm a fallible person. No one's perfect, but I am thorough in what I do, and because of that, I have way less mistakes to deal with than the person who just isn't thorough, isn't detailed, and just is trying to, make a buck, but like I said before, you end up paying more in the end. So just if you're new to this, just take what I'm saying, not with a grain of salt, but like with your heart, because it's true. A lot of stuff but this is, you want to be thorough, man. You want to be able to reference this if you need to come back to it, and not look for this word just everywhere in the thing. It's going to take you so much longer in the end. And if you need to forward this document to someone to prove it to them, then you have it all highlighted, So when you say, yeah, it is on there, or no, it isn't, and you send them the proof, it's highlighted and it's undisputable. So and another thing is I've worked for many contractors out there, and I've been in the unfortunate position of working for quite a few that they don't want you to make money. They want you to cut your legs off on every single project. Do yourself a favor. One time, shame on you. 2 times, shame on me. If you figure that out, just find other contractors to work for, save yourself that aggravation. Also, you'll find that, contractors, there are some out there that will just try to get you on site and add things and get everything for free, and then try to be spiteful afterwards if you can't do it for free because you got people to pay. And do yourself a favor. There's that saying, right? Once, shame on you. Twice, shame on me. Just find different people to work for. There are plenty of honest contractors, general contractors, builders out there that you can work for. And I'm not against doing favors and just being a good subcontractor. What I'm saying is if you find that you're working for somebody that's just constantly taking advantage of you, you're driving your beat up work truck and praying that it gets to the job because you're working for contractors that keep cutting your legs off and you can't afford anything, then just keep plugging away and find honest contractors to work with. And as you find them, start just getting rid of these other people. They're driving around in their brand new trucks and they got the Rolex on and things, and here you are, you got one pair of painter pants because you got one pair of painter pants and a beat up truck that you have to pray that you make it to work every day because these guys keep cutting your legs off and getting everything for free. And while they're keeping you busy, you're not benefiting from it. You're not benefiting from it. The Bible says a worker is worthy of his wages, right? And painters work hard. You guys work hard. I think painters and people in the finishes are the most undervalued subcontractors in the industry. And I would say that especially painters, among others, and I'm just going to keep it on painting because I'm on painting. So for you guys that are in other finishes, I could say, yeah, well, us too. Yeah, well, I probably would agree with you. But painters go in and they make what everyone else did look good. And I think that's undervalued and underappreciated in the construction industry a lot of times. So, hey, man, you provide a awesome service as a painter, and you guys work hard. And so don't let anyone take that away from you. Here's some more that we just want to underline and highlight here. Supporting and conduit, things like that. I've wrote all this stuff on my paper. But like I said, it's good to be thorough so that you have a point of reference, a place to go back to. It says concrete, spots, paint. Just cover the floors, guys, or exclude it, make the GC cover the floor, put it in your bid proposal, one or the other, important stuff. Mechanical and plumbing, we see some painting in here. All mechanical equipment shall be clearly identified with 2-inch high stencil letters. This is something that normally painters don't do. I mean, if you want, you can add it in there, but they would know better than you. So this is a job for the mechanical contractor here. Piping, ductwork, and equipment, that's in view, complete the structure, shall be cleaned by removing rust, plaster, and dirt by wire brushing. Grease, oil, and similar materials shall be removed by wiping with clean rags, suitable solvents. It's just telling you how to prep things before you paint. If you're a painter, this stuff you probably already know. All right. This is, I like this, painted. Fittings, valves, strainers, unfinished ends of sectional insulation, color damaged jacket shall be sealed, painted. This is just architects being thorough in their descriptions here. A lot of this stuff, like I said, you probably won't even have to come back to. Paint inside of all ductwork with flat black paint. Like here, this is one that is paint inside. And see, this is why it's good to go through all this with the thing, because we've seen all those that really we're going to do anyway that don't apply. We don't really have to write them down. It's just additional information. But this one here, if you hadn't gone through and been thorough, look where it's at. It's on the mechanical and plumbing page for specifications. And if you only looked under the Division 9, you wouldn't have seen this, right? So you would have went through the whole job and you wouldn't have put in your cost that you had to paint the inside of all ductwork, right? That's visible through the grill with black paint. And that's something you want to include on your bid proposal. Now, whether we can go through and find where every single grill is in here, that's another story. But we are going to go through, I guess, at some point and try to do that. So we've been through all of the pages. And now the next step that I do after I've gone through and thoroughly marked up the pages with anything that has to do with paint on them, I go through and I know that I'm going to keep the cover and the finish schedule there, and I'm going to get rid of these because the less you have up here to confuse you, the better. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the cover sheet and I'm going to select where's the finish schedule? I got the schedules there. So we have interior, elevations, reflected ceiling construction, floor finish plan. So we want that one. And you want to arrange these in the way you do the takeoff. So I will go through and probably assess how I want to do that. And that's the reflected ceiling plan. All right, so we got the finish plan, fixture and furniture plan. We don't really need to look at that. Exterior elevations. We want to check to see if there is anything called out for painting on this real quick. I do not see, I didn't see anything show up. And I don't see anything called out. So because of that, we have exclusions, right? So on the bid proposal, we want to note that exterior would be in the exclusions. Now you might get on the job and they do something out here and they want you to paint something, and you can charge time and material on the job, I guess. But right now, I'm not seeing anything as far as exterior. Interior elevations. Now these are important. And because this is a smaller job, you will be able to do the takeoff on this probably just from the interior elevations. On bigger jobs, I've seen where there are interior elevations, but they're specifically to give you the elevations and an idea, and not so much being able to do a takeoff on all the paint for all the interior walls just from the elevations. So a lot of times you'll have to use the finish plan, but on this one we might be able to just go from the interior elevations. So we see the sails, see this here, back of house, BOH, back of house, UNO. If you see that, it means unless noted otherwise. NIC, not in contract. That type of stuff you'll see sometimes. So this just shows you and gives you an idea of what the interior of the store looks like. Not a bad thing to have up there for reference. We went through all the specifications. We have, I believe, the reflected ceiling plan. Let's check this out. The grills on here. Grills aren't on there. So we don't need that plan. All right, and now let's get into the takeoff here. Let me just look at this quick. How far we got. All right, so here we are, guys. I think we got all the plans we need up here. We got the interior elevations listed up there. That should be for all of the interior elevations. We have the construction and finished floor plan, which is good to have. And I'll show you on that real quick why it's good to have, because on bigger projects, a lot of times you will notice that this is a smaller project, so they're able to list all the interior elevations. And on the exterior elevations, we know it was only the storefront, right? The back wasn't even on the exterior elevation. So we know that's not getting painted. But on a bigger project, they might have the call outs in here like PTO1, PTO2, and you would do surface area and just do the takeoff like this. So, but now that we have our plans, everything read, we thoroughly went through the plans. We marked everything up. We named, we checked the scale. We did all the things we need to do to this point. Now what we're going to do is we are going to create some items and assemblies, right? So let's go here. We know from the schedules that And I'm just going to put relative prices. And this is how you do items and assemblies in the paint, right? So PT01, I'm going to write this on my sheet down here, is Ben Moore. And PT01 is 2121-70 Chantilly lace. And that's your finish paint. Then we have PT-02, which is Ben Moore. And it's 2120-10 matte finish. Jet black. And this is jet black, so you could probably use the same leftover paint when you're painting the inside of the grills. And one of the things I would put in here is, and I always put on my bid proposals, is paint will proceed prior to the install of finish items not needed for a watertight fit, meaning don't put the grills on before we paint the inside of that grill black, right? So we don't have to sit there and spend time taking those things off. Don't put the switch plates on, that's what this means, before we paint the walls. Why? Because then we got to take all the switch plates off before we paint, right? So, and that's what that kind of means. So we see the two paints called out here. I've wrote them down, and there is no primer. So we're just called out. A drywall primer is fine. And I'm just going to put a general idea of pricing. The pricing that I use in items and assemblies is just to give you an idea what you can do in the stack software and how it can make your life a whole lot easier. And we're going to build items, and I'm going to put create new folder, stacked training painters. Right, so then I'm going to do this, right? And that's going to come down here. And these are all other businesses that I do estimating for on a regular. So I always put them as a number. I know, so no other people know what they are. You would have to be me to know that. So, and here is where we're going to create an item, right? So we're going to create an item. Okay, so the first item is going to be our finish paint, right? So on this one, they're calling out PT-01, and there's other ways to do this. Some people go and they'll put, I'm just being super thorough for you guys to show you what you can do. But some people put first finish coat, second finish coat, primer coat, things like that. But I'm going to actually put PT-01. Ben Moore. D121-70 Chantilly lace. All right. I'm going to put first finish coat. And I'm going to copy this And I'm gonna put it in the description here. And the reason I do that is because when the other thing I like about Takeoff is when we go through here, we're going to be able to push this over to a spreadsheet, right? And on the spreadsheet, it's going to say first finish coat. In the description, it's going to say PTO1, Ben Moore. You could also do it the opposite way if you wanted. You could put this in item name and then first finish coat in description. I find it's a little easier to do it this way. Here you want how will you measure this item, right? So we got linear foot, cubic yard, meter, square meter, cubic meter each. So we're going to use square foot because that's how we measure paint, right? And how do we want to purchase this? Well, 5 gallon, because you get a better price on a 5 gallon. Or you could put a gallon, whatever you want to put on here. Tell you how many gallons. It's going to tell you how many gallons regardless, or how many 1.25 gallons or whatever. But let's say if you right here it says if your purchase unit is the same as the unit of measure selected. So here is where we want to put in. So we're going by 5 gallon pail, right? And a 5 gallon pail gets 5 gallons in it, and you get approximately 250 square feet per gallon. More than that on the second coat. So on the first coat, it's 250 times 5 gallons, right? So we want to go 250 times 5. So that's 1,250 square feet per 1 5 gallon pail. Okay. And we're going to put the cost of that at, let's say $300. And like I said, these are just general prices for these kind of things. So we got the material here at 300. And we're going to keep that separate. I guess if you do your labor by the square foot, you could put a labor price in here. If you run equipment, you could put an equipment price to that, but I'm going to do an hourly and not a unit cost. I find that hourly estimates are more accurate. There are people who use other softwares that do a unit cost per square foot, linear foot, that kind of thing. But I find that the most accurate estimates come from your own material costs or your vendor and your own average cost per employee. How much do you pay on average one employee? Okay, so we're going to add that, and then you'll see it down here, and then we're going to go through here and create another item. And let me go here quick because I want to. You know what? I'm going to switch this around. Put this up here too. Okay, and then I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to create another item, which is going to be second finish coat. And then I'm going to put that here. We're going to do square foot. We're also going to do the same thing here, 5-gallon pail. And we're going to put, this is the second finish coat, and you get a little more out of it. We're going to put 1,500 square feet per. And we're going to put the price here because of 5-gallon. Like I said, it's just general price. Don't put this in your thing. You have your own price for vendors. I'm just kind of picking this out of the air. So, and then we got create an item, primer coat. Right. And we're just going to put drywall primer. And we're going to do square foot on this. 5-gallon pail. Now, you know as well as I do that when you go through and you spray this job out, that drywall sucks up paint. So you're only going to get maybe 100 square feet per gallon on this. So on a 5-gallon pail, we're going to say 500 square feet per 5-gallon pail. And we're going to put a material price of 75 on that. Okay. Drywall primer ain't that much. My experience, it's usually between $60 and $80 for a 5-gallon pail. In your area, it might be more. Use your own vendor pricing. Now, we also know that we have to paint exposed ceilings, right? So, and there's nothing called out in the plans for the exposed ceilings. So what we're going to do is we're going to put dry fall here. And if you got experience in painting, then you know that dry fall is good for exposed ceilings. But you also know that it's usually better for higher ceilings because it's kind of rough. So what I want to do is go back and I want to go to my interior elevations and I want to see what my elevations look like here. What is the elevation to the deck on these exposed ceilings? So what I'm going to do is put the scale in here. And the scale here is 1/4 is 1. And then I'm going to use the dimension line. And I'm going to get 16 feet. So I would say that's probably okay. That's probably okay to use dry fall on that. Anything above 12 feet, I would say, is okay to use dry fall on, in my opinion. But that's what we're going to go with on this, just for the sake of this estimate here. Oh, wait, no. Items. All right, so we're building items here. So we got the primer and the 2 finish coats. And now we want to create dry fall ceilings. And just put a exposed ceilings. And it does say PTO2, so I guess we're using Ben Moore on the exposed ceilings. So I just noticed that in my notes. See, that's why it's good to be thorough. And like I said, I make mistakes too. I was looking at this, so they want Ben Moore on the ceilings too. So we're going to accommodate them in that. PTO2 is, let me see, let's go back here. Is the jet black, right? So we already did PTO1, so now we're going to do PTO2 with the jet black. All right, so let's go back to takeoffs. Items. And let's create, let me just make sure PTO1, yep. So let's go create PTO2. And we're going to put first finish coat ET-02 Ben Moore 2120-10 matte finish jet black. Jet black. So that's what we're going to do up here. And we're going to do square foot. And we're going to do let me see. $5-gallon pail. And I'm just building, all I'm doing is I'm building the items out here. And then we're going to create assemblies. So second finish coat. Second finish coat. And then do I still have this? Yes, there we go. And we're going to put it here. And then square foot, 5-gallon pail. And we're going to put 1500 there because second coat's a lot easier. And put 300. If you're using dry fall, you just do 3 coats of dry fall. Or you do enough takeoff for 3 coats. But they want Ben Moore here on the ceiling. So we're going to accommodate them in that. We already have the primer coat, but that's for gyp walls. And I think we should probably maybe put primer coat gyp on there, so that we know that's for the gyp. Because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a primer coat for exposed ceilings, right? Exposed ceilings, which is a pre-catalyzed we're going to go, I guess, with a pre-catalyzed epoxy, I guess. Epoxy primer. It's called Pro Industrial. And because it's metal, you know, a lot of this stuff that you're going to be spraying out is metal. So you want to prime that with something that the finish coat is going to stick to. Now, if you don't use a good metal primer, and I'm not saying you got to go through there and go bananas on coating an exposed ceiling with this. You just have to give it a light coat of this primer. If you don't do that, you risk things starting to flake off of the metal and stuff, because these regular finish coats on Ben Moore, they're not made just to slap on metal. You have to primer these metal structures and exposed ceilings with something that this paint will stick to and prevent rust from moisture, and also prevent peeling, flaking, that sort of thing. So we're just going to say pre-catalyzed epoxy. Maybe you want to use something different. I find from past experience, using this is always worked out very well, and the paint job lasts a long time. And again, it's about going above and beyond recommendation. So, and just doing a good job so you don't have to come back. And so here, put 5-gallon pail, right? That's how we're going to purchase this stuff, 5-gallon pail. Like I say, 1250. Material. I'm going to do 300 on a 5 on this too. And like I said, you probably pay something different or use something different, and that's fine. You don't have to use what I'm using. I'm just doing this for the sake of showing you the stack software. I'm doing this for the sake of showing you how this all goes down, and the software, and just how streamlined it can be for you in your industry. So we've added that. Now, the other thing is we want to create an item, and we'll call it drop cloth work and wall prep. And that's just what it is. This is for instances where you might have to use a drop cloth or stand in between paint coats. This covers you on that labor. Now, if you're not standing in between coats, sand in between coats. This provides a smooth application and a better deliverable finished product if you're a painter. So on this, square foot is how we measure this. Square foot labor. This is strictly labor. It really has nothing to do And we're going to keep it at 1 square foot because the labor for that is going to be, I'm just going to pull, it doesn't need to be a lot. Just some to kind of cover you on that sort of thing. So you choose what you want to choose. Let me see here. So we're just going to go with that on that. Another thing you might need to add is masking and tape. Right, for this job, you might need to add masking and tape. So it's just prep to cover windows and other structures before spraying. So this is another cost you're going to see here that you're going to need. And I'm trying to build all these out that I can think of before we get into the actual takeoff, because so we don't have to come back and do this. So masking and tape, I do that at each window. 1 each equals 1 window. We want to keep it at that. And material, I'm going to say material, $5 a window. I'm just throwing a cost out there. I'm going to say labor, $5 a window. What does it take? 2 minutes to cover a window. That should be plenty for that, if we have to do that. Also, do we have anything else? Oh, yes, doors and frames. So there's a couple different ways to do doors and frames. Some estimators just give a price for each. Other estimators will measure out at 8 feet, 4 foot wide, and kind of do an area on that to give them a paint amount. But I find that especially on small jobs, it's pretty easy to guesstimate the paint. Usually the rule is you can get 5 doors per gallon, both sides, edges, everything like that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do it. Maybe, no, you know what? We won't do it by just counting them, because we're going to count the windows. So you'll see how that works. Let's do this by actual painting. So let's do first coat, door primer. Recatalyzed epoxy. I think they're wood doors, right? Let's go look. Maybe we'll just do counts. Let me see. Doors. This PTO1. Door and frame. PTO1 is what we're painting now, so what we'll do, I think, is what I'm going to do instead of let me see. Let's go to items. All right, so we're going to go to items. First coat. We already have a primer here. It's for the exposed ceilings. It says primer coat, exposed ceilings. I'm going to leave that like that. And then we're going to do primer coat, hard metal doors and frames. And we're going to use a pre-catalyzed epoxy on that. Pre-catalyzed epoxy. We're going to go, should we do square foot? Yeah, we'll do per square foot. This one I'll do gallon. I think it'll come out better that way. 250 square feet. On the primer, you probably get more than that, but for the sake of that, we're just going to we'll put 60 a gallon. And then that looks good. Primer coat, yep, do that. Hard metal doors and frames. And then we're going to create a first coat. Hard metal doors and frames. So first coat, hard metal doors and frames. Finish coat, and then we got I'm going to come back for that and put it back on here. The PTO1, which is, let me see, PT-01 BM 2121. And on this Chantilly lace color, you want to make sure that you use just a regular extra white primer, just help you out, because this is a really white paint color here. Probably the whitest white you could probably get. So we're going to do gallon. And we're going to do 250. We're going to do 60 a gallon on that. I'm going to copy this because I'm going to use it on the second finish coat. And then we're going to primer coats are down here, as you can see. Let me see. Then we're going to go here. Create item. Create item. So we're going to do, let's see, we're going to do second finish coat, hard metal doors and frames. And that's what I'm going to use that. Square foot, go gallon. We're going to do 300 on that one. Here we go. You probably get more than that anyway, but just for sake of doing it. So 300 square foot a gallon equals 1 gallon. We'll do that. And I'm being super thorough for you guys here on this. You could, some people go through and they just say, all right, $50 a door, and they just go through. And I think that's okay if you know kind of what you use on those things and already kind of estimated your cost on the doors. If you don't, it's good to do it this way, and then maybe after a couple of them, you can come up with your cost, because you could take your vendor cost times doors, how many gallons usually, boom, boom, and there you go. But so we got that there, our mill doors and frames. And then I think we got enough here to do a takeoff. So now we're going to go and we're going to do a takeoff. Okay. So the reflected ceiling plan here. And we see paint exposed deck. Let me see. I want to see what the elevations are. It's 9 foot to the gyp ceilings. And 15 to the deck. So we're going to go do this. And I think on a small job like this, I don't think you would need to rent. I'm not sure. Let me get through this. Scissor lift, but let me go through and see. Well, yeah, I guess there's enough in here. It's not just a couple spaces. So first one, we're going to do gyp ceilings. So we're gonna, oh no, exit that, sorry. Go to takeoff, put gyp ceilings. And they want to be Chantilly lace, so we already know they're going to be T-02. Going to do the area. And wait a minute. The assemblies. Sorry about that, guys. Like I said, we're gonna. So now let's do the assemblies. All right. So we know what we need as far as assemblies on this. So what we have to do is create a new folder. And we're going to put stack training. Put it in stack training paint. Like we did the other one. And we're going to create an assembly. Now, what's an assembly? Assembly is where you group certain things together. Okay. So gyp ceilings. Okay. Oops. My spelling's terrible, right? Measurement, square foot. And this is for the ceilings. We don't really need to put a description on that, right? So we can add, and then we can add required items. So if I go into items up here, I can then primer coat gyp walls. We're going to need that. With the prep work, the drop cloth work, we're going to need that. First finish coat, PTO2, because we know that's what's going on there. And we're going to add that to this group, right? So they all go here. Oh, there's one thing that I didn't add, and that's our labor, right? So we're going to save this. We're going to go back to items. And we're going to create labor for guys. We're just going to create a quick labor item. Square foot, or actually, I'm going to put hour. What for? We'll just put 450 square feet an hour. Labor, 4 guys, we'll just put, we'll say they make $20 an hour. And we'll just add that to the thing here. Now let's go back to assemblies. Hip ceilings. Let's add the labor 4 guys on there. Okay. And this is how you put the assemblies together. So that's good for the JIP ceilings. Now we'll come here, we'll create another. Let me make sure all those are in there. Yep. Create another assembly. We'll put JIP walls square foot. Add. And I just saw this on. Oh no. We'll put that as an alternate. And we got add required items. We go to our stack training painters items. We're going to need that. We're going to need JIP drywall primer. We're going to need the first coat. There for the walls. And then we're going to need the second finish coat. So we got the primer, all that, drop cloth work. 4 guys, primer coat. There we go. We got all those items. We'll check it out. First, second, primer coat, drywall. And we'll save this. We also know from the plans that there's JIP walls PT-02, which is the black paint, right? So we're just going to go through here. We're going to add this. We're going to add this. Drop cloth work. Labor 4 guys. We're going to add drywall primer. And then we're going to add the first coat PT-02 and the second finish coat PT-02. We got 5 items in there. We got everything. Save. Okay. I'm thinking, let me check the plan. Let me go to schedules. Let me make sure that there is no wall base. I want to check for that. It's vinyl. We ain't painting it, so I just want to make sure. So let's go create one more assembly. I think that should be enough to get started. Hard metal doors and frames. We'll do square foot, add. We'll go into our hard metal doors and frames first. Finish coat, second finish coat. And then we'll go into our labor 4 guys. We'll probably, yeah, labor 4 guys we'll do. Drop cloth work we'll do. We got that second finish coat, first and second finish coat, labor 4 guys, and primer coat, hard metal doors and frames. There we go. So we got everything there. Oh, no, we don't need that. Save. All right. All right. So here we are. I believe we got enough. Things like masking the windows, that's each. So we're not going to add that into an assembly. We're just going to go in items and use them. Let's go in and start the takeoff. And if we need something else, we can always add it, right? So let's do this over so you guys don't forget here. All right, cancel. So this is the ceiling plan. Excuse me. And what we're going to do is we're going to add gyp ceilings, because that's the first thing we're going to take off, PT-02. And that's the PT-01. is the gyp ceilings. So go into area, create takeoff, and then you come down here and you'll see items and assemblies and gyp ceilings right there. And we know gyp ceilings are PT-01. They're not metal. And right here, I can tell this is gyp, right? So, and you'll usually they give you a thing here, right? New gypsum board ceiling right there. See on the symbols there. But so we've added our assembly, and now we want to start the takeoff. And so we got to find what the scale is here. Quarter equals 1, so we're going to look for that under the standard scale. And we want to perform the takeoff here on the gypsum board. Okay, so we have the first, the second, and the third coat involved in that. The drop cloth work. So all those things will automatically be taken off on here. So if we go through and we just do the takeoff here and then finish, we see 139 square feet. And we're going to see in the estimate that that stuff is automatically populated into the estimate back here. So see if there's any more gypsum board. This is ACT, so we're not painting that. The rest of this is exposed ceiling. So we're going to do a new takeoff. Exposed ceilings. 15-foot. PT-02, which is the black. But we want to do the area here. on all the exposed ceiling. We know that it is the PTO2 Benjamin Moore jet black from the finish schedule and from going through the specs and writing these things down. So we're going to add the assemblies to this. Chip walls. I didn't actually do an assembly for the exposed ceilings. So let me show you what it's like if we just go through and do it from the items, right? So if I go into items, because this is another way you can do it, okay? So you can go through primer coat exposed ceilings, labor 4 guys, and then we can go to first coat, Ben Moore, second finish coat, Ben Moore, and drop cloth work for any of that kind of prep you might need to do with that, covering up lights that are hanging down or whatever. That should cover that cost labor-wise for that. And then you want to start measuring. And we have the first coat, the finish coat, and the primer coat involved in there in the paint. So you know what I didn't do on this? And I'll just go through here like this. Let's see. There we go. And as you see, it highlights that. Here, this is a multiplier. You can multiply that times 3. I didn't do that because I already have the items selected. I have the primer coat selected. I have the first coat selected. I have the finish coat selected. I have the labor with the 4 guys there. And so I have everything that I need to calculate that cost in there. So then we'll hit finish. And we see it's 2,759 square feet to paint that area. Now let's get into the interior elevations here. Now, like I said before, if you're on a bigger job, a lot of times you will not use the area, but you will go off on the surface area and not just the area. But here we go. So this is a breakout of all the walls that are getting painted, right? So I'm going to do JIP PT-02 walls. And we're going to do a new takeoff. We're going to select area, create a takeoff, and we are going to go into JIP walls right there. And that's the assembly. And all our items are there. And you'll see that they are when we go into the estimate to do that. All right, so add assembly, save, JIP walls. Let me see, let me try it again. Add assembly, chip walls PTO2, that's the one we're doing, because that's the black paint, right? And now we just need to get the scale again. 1/4 is 1. Scales added. And now I'm going to go through, and we know that this is the line here, right? Everything below this line is PTO1. So we're going to go up to that line, and we're going to go across. And get the measurement for that. Now I'm going to go up here, down to the line. Everything up there. Okay. Then we're going to go to PTO1. We don't see it called out here, but we know it is. Let me see. So we know that we are painting PTO2 above that line there. So you want to take that off. And sometimes they don't put that. So if you miss that, you're going to be missing out on money. So we want to take that and do what we need to do with that. There we go. There's those walls there. And now we're finished there. But we still have the other interior elevation to give us the rest. And so we're just going to continue in this same thing. The assembly is already in there. And 1/4 is 1. Now I do this much faster than when I'm doing a construction estimating tip or resource on here for people who want to learn this stuff. But I've slowed this down just so we can get everything in that we need to get for you guys. You know, I really want you guys to learn this, to be successful at this, to save money. And like I said, if you need training, once you get the software, I'm more than happy to go in there with you and kind of shadow you, if you know what I mean, on your takeoff. I do charge $35 an hour to do that, to shadow you on that and to train you. But the benefit of that is learning it yourself, maybe one, so that you know what you're looking at, even if you have an estimator doing the takeoff for you. So at least when you look at it, you still know what you're looking at and what's going on in there. Or 2, you want to learn it to do it yourself. Or 3, you're just curious how to do it. I don't know. So if you're new to this type of thing, we'd love to help you out. We want to see you be successful, like I said. Now we're going to do, so we got all the walls taken off for the black. So it seems like all the exposed ceilings, as you can see, the joist, the metal joists here running across, that all that stuff up here to the deck is black with the conduit and everything that we read. And then they want the wall this far down to be black. And probably to make the place feel bigger. And that's what that will usually do. So chip, walls, PT-01, new takeoff area, create, and then we're going to go in here. And we are going to do just the JIP walls because that's the PT-01. See our assemblies there, all this stuff in it that we need. And now we are going to go through and do the walls here. And I'm going to show you a nifty little thing here. I want to see what exactly. So if I zero in on this ST4 that listed on here. Oh, probably have to go to finish schedule. So go over here. So let's go see what S2436 is in our schedule. Maybe this is the shelving and stuff. ST. Curious if that's the miscellaneous detail that we were looking at. There a thing here. No. So it seems to be shelving. So what we'll do, because we're not sure, is, let me see, let me go back here. Unless it's on here somewhere. Did I miss it somewhere? All right. All right, we're just going to continue with the takeoff here. Takeoff. I don't know what happened. But... So PTO1, start measuring. Oh, wait, got to be on the plan to do that. So here we are. We are on the plan. Okay. So I'm going to have to go through and find out what these are. I'll look it up in the search in a minute here. But I want to go through and finish all this stuff here. Didn't do the doors because we're doing them separately. Now I know here they didn't say anything about it, but they don't see no PTO1 or nothing called out, but they assume you'll know that, because everything else is. The stock room elevation. Yeah, and you see other things in here, but those are just like furniture, fixtures, things like that. Those are things that are going in after the painting. And of course, you're going to have to paint the wall behind that. So don't freak out if you're new to this and you see me doing the takeoff here, but you don't see any, but you see all that stuff in the background. The only thing I'm really going around would be windows and doors. So, because we're going to do the actual doors another way, so which is fine. Some people, like I said, just count them. Others don't. They'll do it this way. But I find that most people might start out doing it this way and kind of trying to get an exact how many doors they can do per gallon of primer and finish coat. And they just go at it that way. So there we go on that. Over to here. Uh, wall space here. We know that those are windows. Understand why they would put. Wait a minute. If you like figure out that you started at the wrong spot or something, you just hit escape and that line disappears. But there's a door there. Yeah. And this here is wall protection. That's what WPO1 is. So what we're going to do is single select that. You just go up, single select, and then you come down here and put cut shape. Because that area, you'd only prime that area, but that's cool. We could take that out. Just want to show you that tool real quick. there we go on the elevations for that. Now I want to check this at RS07B. I think that's on this. No, it's not even on here. Maybe it's over here. You look it up, RS07B, RS. S2436. That's 2436. S2436. I want to make sure this ain't the shelving. Yeah, that's all it gives, man. It's 2436. Right here. I don't see any other call out for this thing. I know this is the vinyl base. So what I'm going to do, I guess, is just, looks like it could be windows. So I'm just going to count it as a window, I guess. It doesn't really say. So these are something like, if you don't have anything on the plan that really says anything about this, because we looked it up, it's only showing up on this. It's really not telling us what the heck it is. So I'm just going to assume we're painting behind it. Or it's a window or something. So maybe I can go over here and see what it is. Give me a little better idea. Go down here. Yeah, the only windows seem to be in the front. This seems to be all shelving. That's all shelving right here. That gives you a good idea of this is kind of the perfect plan to take a look at here. So what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to add, so you can see this is all shelving. That's what we've seen in the pic. This other stuff might be racks. We have some windows here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add any shelf painting because I can't tell what it's called as an alternate. So shelving as an alternate. Because we can't tell what is and what isn't getting painted, but we do have that miscellaneous detail that seems to suggest that we are painting some. So we're gonna do masking windows. Masking windows. We'll do this. We'll do a count, and this is how we do masking windows. Got to go into items, into here, and masking and tape. That's it. That's the only one we need right there. All our costs are already in there. Start takeoff, and each window we would want to put a cost because it's going to take your guys' time, right? So it's basically $10 a window to mask and tape them off, and that cover, hypothetically, because of the cost I put in there, it covers your material, plastic, tape, and time to do that. So, and now we're going to do the doors, right? So we're going to put hard metal doors and frames. Okay. And this is what we're going to do, surface area. And what surface area? Well, no, actually, we're not going to do surface area. We're going to go back. And we're going to do area. The difference between area and surface area is surface area. We'll just draw a line over the top and then account for whatever you put on the wall height, like 9 foot. So you go, it'll count 9 foot down for the distance across. But since we're just staying on area, we're just going to do area because we want to figure out what our exact paint cost is going to be. We're going to do it this way. And then after this, we can move into the actual estimate and bid proposal portion of the project here. So our metal doors and frames. Got it right there. Now we're going to measure. So we're going to do the doors. And you have to push shift sometimes because this thing gets out of whack pretty quickly. Like you notice, it'll just start drawing you crooked lines. So if you're a neat freak, that's all you gotta do is hit shift. All right, now. All right, hard metal doors and frames starts. You know what I didn't do? I didn't put the multiplier on here because we want to do both sides of the door. So let's do this times 2 because we want this side and the other side, not just one side, right? That. 7 each. Let's go back here because we're going to need to, because we only did one side on these. So there we go. We got the doors done. Stretch a little bit. Average time to do something like this, if I wasn't doing a training, would probably be about 2 hours. I think it's going to take a little longer here because I'm doing all of the other stuff, slowing it down so you guys can learn. But here, we're going to get into the estimate now, part of it. And this is going to kind of blow you away. It's pretty cool, right? So we added all of our worksheet. Bam, look. So we can see all our drop cloth work here. For sanding in between coats, that's what our cost is. We can see what our labor is for the 4 guys. Masking and tape, 35 bucks. That ain't bad. And then these costs, right? So 2.27 gallons on that for doors and frames. 3.65 5-gallon pails on the first coat. So about 4 5-gallons on that one, about 4 5-gallon on that one. And then the second finish coat hard metal doors, 2 gallons about, because remember we got more. We get more coverage on the second coat. We got 7 windows at the cost that we have in there for that. So it's all put together here. This is the extended cost. This is the extended cost of your bid here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to reports. And I'm going to open up project cost calculator. And I know you're saying like, oh, that's extent. What about the markup? So we'll get into that. We'll get into the markup and all of those things on that. So I'm just gonna stop sharing for a second so I can get the project cost calculator. All right, guys, I'm back. I am sharing the screen again. And it's because I wanted to just grab this cost calculator here. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to properties, unblock, and then hit OK. And we're going to need that unblock so that we can push all this over to our spreadsheet. And I want to show you what that looks like, okay? So we're going to enable content. I'm going to minimize this, and then I'm going to go into reports here, item cost by takeoff. Project cost calculator. You'll see item cost by takeoff here. And then I'm going to go here and hit import CSV. It's going to bring a thing up here, item cost by takeoff. Boom. And everything we've seen on the back end was transferred over to here. Let me minimize it a little bit. As you can see, it's item cost by takeoff, right? So the exposed ceilings all in one group, the JIT ceilings all in one group in the costs, the JIT walls all in one group and the cost, the JIT walls PTO2 all in one group and across, the hard metal doors and frames all in one group and across, and it gives you all of that. And then we have the masking windows here. Gives you the material and labor costs there. And then your extended cost. Round up to account for, loss, things like that. You can round it up. So that's what that looks like on this end with all of that. But if we go back into the estimate here, right? And what we want to do is we want to create a bid proposal. So I'm going to stop sharing so I can fix the summary portion here. And then I'll be right back. Let's see here. Summary. So just give me a minute here, guys. I'm just kind of have to go into places I'm not able to show you. But I will be right back here because I want to show you the bid proposal portion of stack takeoff. Now you see we were able to push everything from the back end over there. I'll show you a few more things on the back end, but I want to go in here real quick and create this bid proposal for you guys to see, so you can see one more of the things you're able to do in stack that you may not be able to do in a lot of these other estimating software. So all right. All right, I'm almost done here, guys. All right. Go. All right, let's come back here. Turn to meeting. All right, guys. All right, I'm back. So this is the estimate portion here, but the bid proposal portion. But we're going to go over here. So non-measurables would be like a scissor lift, right? So we're going to need a scissor lift rental. And based on based on the labor costs here of about 2,300, this project it's going to take approximately 29 hours. So we're going to say you need a scissor lift for 4 days. So we're going to do 4 at 250 a day. Right, that's $1,000. So 4 days, 250 a day. Can you put a and what's going to happen is all these costs are going to push over to the bid proposal, and then we're going to go down and check out the bid proposal here. So 4 days. Let me see what is going on. Stalled on me here. 4. Sometimes this thing likes to act up. Scissor lift. 4 days. Add item. All right. Next thing, material tax. Right. And the reason I put material tax up here is because I don't want it to show up on my bid proposal. I just want it to be one nice selling price, right? But the truth is you're going to have to pay tax on the material. So for argument's sake, we'll put 8%. That's $575.20. We'll round it off. We'll say $600. Okay. And that should cover your sundries, paint, everything like that for as far as material tax. And those are the only things I think you're going to need for this project. So we have an extended cost of $11,650. And you would add this to your spreadsheet here. Of course, after you push that over, because you want the extended cost to be on there at least, so you know what your budget is. And then we're going to do markup, right? So I'm just going to pick a markup out of the blue sky and 35%. Okay. So basically what the markup here is, overhead markup is it's saying that after all of my costs, after my scissor lift rental, paying for my material tax, all my materials, my employees or subcontractors, insurances, things like that, I should walk away with $3,876.11 net for the business. So the business made about $3,900 off the job, considering you get it. Okay. And so what we want to do now is we want to go scope of work, and we want to list the scope of work here, right? You could put the project location down here if you want. Let's see what the project location is actually. Let's go back here. Go up to the cover sheet. We will go to 1,000. So I'm going to write this down so I put it on here. 1,000 premium outlets. Drive. Suite A117. Tannersville, PA 18372. All right, and we're going to put that on our proposal. So we'll go back over here. We'll go to edit scope summary. There was no addendas, so we just put addendas, none reviewed, division 9 painting. Bid set date is 7/11. Put a 0 there, maybe I get rid of that. 7/11/23. And the reason for the bid set date is you always want to add that so that they know what the plan was dated that you did the takeoff on. And then they can't slip you a Mickey, you know? They can't go in and do a revision on a plan and then send you one they did on 7/14 and say, well, this is the plan. Well, you didn't do the takeoff on that plan. You did the one on 7/11. So that's what that's for. 1,000 premium outlets drive suite A17 Tannersville PA 18372 18372. So there we go on that. Now clarifications. You're just clarifying a little bit about the project. The following proposal is based upon information available in plans at the time and date of this proposal. All inclusions up here, date, you did it, date on the plans. All inclusions, clarifications, and exclusions shall become part of any subcontract issued. Painting shall proceed prior to install of finish items not required for a watertight structure without the presence of other trades, right? So that's what you want. Paint shall be Ben more as indicated on plans, right? All right. So we didn't have any addendas, and what an addenda is something they add on later. So they'll send an addenda out for the job. And sometimes it's for you, sometimes it isn't. So let's go in here and edit this. Inclusions per plans and bid set, right? JIP walls, JIP soffits, exposed ceilings, and I'm taking all this. I'm taking all this from the notes that I took earlier, right? Because there was a lot of stuff that went on there. And if I wouldn't have took those notes, I would definitely forget something on those notes. Okay. So that's why I take the notes as I'm going through to make sure that I get the things that I need in the bid proposal and to show that I was thorough. So all exposed structure ductwork sprinkler pipes. Hard metal doors and frames. One 1 inch thick particle board. No, 2 by, no, we're going to put that in alternates. And the other stuff we are too. So we got everything in here. We want to put 1 primer, 2 finish coats, 1 punch list touch up per project. One punch list touch up, 1 punch list touch up. Exclusions, multiple mobilizations, items not excluded, damage from other trades, utilities, heat and water supply, exterior glazing, graphics, wall covering. I didn't see any anyway, but just in case. There you go, you got that. So here we have our bid proposal. And so now I can download it, and there's a whole bunch of things you can exclude or exclude, but I find that this bid proposal is the best one. Right, so we see everything on there. You see that I told you we don't want to include the sales tax because it'll come out on here. So I'm going to close that. And I left that there to show you that's why I put it up here, because it is a cost that you're going to have unless you live in Delaware or something where they don't have a material cost. But most people do. So that's why I take that off of there and put it up here. So, and then download proposal. And so here you go. You have your total selling price for the job, $14,950. That's what you're saying. Hey, I can do this job and include all the paint, labor, and everything I need for $14,950. And on the spreadsheet, it says $10,764.70. And that would be your extended cost, meaning the total cost. Of course, we didn't put on the scissor lift and the material tax. You would put that on, and then that would give you like another $1,500 on here or something, $1,200. But your extended cost is here. This is your budget. you would use this as your budget, and your bid proposal would be the actual selling price of the job. So that's it. I hope I went through and showed you the value of stack construction. There's a whole lot of other things you can do with this. I hope you learned some blueprint reading techniques. I hope you got some commercial painting insights. And I hope that you will subscribe, check the bell, do all the whistles on here so that you can get further updates on things that I do in the future. And thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and God bless.